we are having a look at the Bradbury Group tonight. The Bradbury Group had as their interview Chloe Swarbrick. Oh, and very exciting news this week in Craig Rennie's podcast. Craig Rennie is going through the Green Party budget. Right, he's going to go through the Green Party numbers, and he's going to talk to Chloe about it. So Craig, going through the numbers, talking to Chloe about it in his podcast this week, which will be out Thursday morning. So Chloe is on with Marty, on with Bomber, and I'm just going to play you a couple of the questions. There's about 5 or 6 questions in total, but we don't want to steal all Bomber's content. This is talking about the hypocrisy between people chiding Russia for bombing an independent sovereign nation, but supporting America and probably Israel for bombing an independent and sovereign nation. And that's the conversation between Chloe and Bomber.
I want to start tonight, if I may, Chloe, on this appalling military aggression by Donald Trump, enabling Israel in strikes against Iran and then bombing Iran's nuclear program themselves. We are quick and righteous in denouncing Russia for walking away from the rules-based order. Where is that courage when Western allies are breaching those exact same standards?
I mean, you said it well. I think that this really goes to show the unfortunate walking back that our current government is doing by virtue of not acting on our historical record of standing on our independent foreign policy and being really crystal clear about where human rights need to be upheld. There is one entity in the Middle East that definitively has nuclear weapons, and we know that that is Israel.
Right.
We have seen, as you say, the government be incredibly quick to act, including the last government, when it comes to Russia's illegal invasion of and occupation of Ukraine. And that's part of the reason that I drafted my illegal occupation of Palestine sanctions bill with the exact same approach that was taken in that legislation, given that what we're seeing currently unfold in Palestine is, if not far worse.
We had Helen Clark on last week's show, and she was adamant that there is no legal justification for these strikes and argued that while this is occurring, Gaza and the West Bank are under even greater military violence threat. What should New Zealand be doing here? Should we be expelling the Israeli ambassador?
We should have done that a long, long time ago when it became abundantly apparent that Israel was not abiding by the international rules-based order. Who are we to say that we expect human rights to be upheld if we're not willing to stand by and ask for them to be upheld ourselves? So yes, Bomber, the government should have moved a heck of a lot quicker. If we just look at the comparisons with how the government moved with regard to, and this government, when in opposition, called for far faster movement when it came to Russia. But we're not willing to apply those same standards when, as you say, it comes to the actions of our supposed allies. But friends don't let friends abuse human rights.
You like that? Here's a t-shirt. Friends don't let friends abuse human rights. It's a nice one, eh? Very good. Chloe's very good at the sound bites. Friends don't let friends abuse human rights. You're listening, Australia? Australia jumped into bed so quickly with Donald Trump. Remember, he's got a mushroom-shaped penis. You jumped into bed very, very quickly.
Allies. But friends don't let friends abuse human rights. At the end of the day, who do we want to be as Aotearoa New Zealand? What history do we want to hand down to our kids? What is the legacy that we want to have? What we are currently witnessing, particularly in Gaza, is a live-streamed genocide where people who have been made refugees in their own lands are being mercilessly carpet-bombed. I don't think that there's ever been a more compelling case for the international community to be crystal clear about what we stand for.
The Queen is back. Long live the Queen. What else do you want to say to that, Joey?
I'm starting to think that we should never have let the Israeli ambassador back in the country after Helen Clark kicked him out.
This has all been going on for a very long time, so you have to wonder, don't you?
Yeah, well, this is the thing that I keep on coming back to, is Israel is not our friend.
Yeah.
They haven't treated us as a friend or an ally.
Yeah.
It's like, sending Mossad agents here to steal the details of dead New Zealand children, so they can make New Zealand passports, because our passport is internationally really well trusted.
Yeah.
So they can send spies into other countries, which then makes it dangerous or more dangerous for everybody traveling on a New Zealand passport. And Helen Clark righteously and rightfully booted them out over that. That was a bona fide international incident, because friends and allies don't do that shit to each other. I'm not sure when we let them back in. I don't see why that's okay. Like,
I'm guessing John Key's responsible for a lot in the world, I'm guessing.
And now we're sitting here, like, and everybody's like, oh, well, they were kind of provoked. And you're like, well, no, historically they're not. They haven't been provoked. Something happened, and there's big questions around what happened and who instigated it, and they lied to the entire world about what happened on that day. There's been multiple statements that were repeated around the world that have been 100% debunked. And then the response to that has been monstrous, and continues to be a stain on the international rules-based order. And everybody's going, come on, Israel. If we just give you another aid shipment full of bombs, will you chill out? No, because nobody can stop you? Oh, okay. Like, why are we involved in that? Like, I understand going up to America and expressing anything other than pure admiration for the titanic genius and physical prowess of Donald J. Trump is probably going to put you on an international sanctions list and have tariffs up the arse. But really, you've got to live with yourself as well. The US is just one country. Surely we can just do trade with all the other ones.
Helen Clark kicked out the Israeli ambassador, I think, in 2004, it looks like. June 2005, Foreign Minister Shalom sent a letter of apology to New Zealand. Diplomatic relations were fully re-established 30th of August 2005, when Naftali
That was a
Tamir
mistake.
presented his credentials, which were accepted to Governor-General Dame Sylvia Cartwright before a guard of honour. The Foreign Minister's Deputy Director for Asia and Pacific, Amos Nadav, said, "We are happy the crisis is behind us. We look forward to the future." So
We look forward to a brand new crisis.
Out for about a year.
Just a year.
Looks like it. Yeah. Yep. When Shalom and Jan Henderson, the New Zealand ambassador to Turkey, met for reconciliation talks on 26 October 2005, Israeli government noted that the meeting was first between high-ranking New Zealand and Israeli officials. So yeah, back by 2005, out in 2004 would appear. Well, very rough and brief and quick.
Well, I mean, I know
research.
they've closed I think they've closed their embassy now because of the war. And people are like, well, mission accomplished. No, the Israelis closed their embassy because of the
In New Zealand, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they haven't been, the government hasn't summoned the ambassador. They haven't booted him out or anything like that. It's just their embassy is.
So the ambassador's on holiday in New Zealand at the moment, is what you're saying?
Sounds like it. Sounds like he's not dodging Iranian hypersonic missiles or anything like that in Tel Aviv. But
Hey,
yeah, I mean,
let's. Yep, sorry.
No, I was just going to go on a big tangent of like, do you remember when the world was at least a little bit more sane than it is now?
Nope.
No, you don't remember. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Cool.
you think about the timeline of us. I mean, for most people watching now, probably the last 50 years, maybe the last 40 years. 80s it was all no nukes. 90s there was a desert. The fight in the desert over in Desert Storm is what I'm thinking. Then the early 2000s there was the Twin Towers that flew into Iraq. And
I'm glad you're not in charge of naming the wars, like
The
Trump
desert
is
thing.
now. No,
The
the fight in the desert.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
mean,
this
like,
war's called, the fight in the desert.
Since the 1980s, I mean, like in the 1970s, you had Vietnam. They didn't finish till about 1975, 1976.
Yeah, all right. Now you're making me think that there hasn't been a decade without some sort of frightening conflict forever.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Except when Auntie Helen was in charge. No, that was.
But would you say the quality of leadership has declined?
Yeah, I mean, it's all you need to do is, is it Baghdadi, the guy from the Desert and the War, those guys. My brain's turned off.
Desert War.
The
Desert War 2.
The Desert and the War people hiding in the caves and Osama, those dudes. Taliban.
Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. No, didn't Trump got one of the top guys, right? And I've played it before. When you put up Obama saying how they got Saddam, and Trump,
and we got him, and he died like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't get credit for this, he says. Unreal.
There's no, yeah. Like future generations are going to watch clips of these historic moments narrated by this meat sack with its soupy brain, who just thinks he's the person that's done the biggest, best thing ever. Nobody's ever seen him like this. And they're like, we've just come from watching clips of Obama. Like,
yeah.
Trump makes Bush seem like an elder statesman.
A Rhodes Scholar, yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Okay, Chewie.
Ridiculed him for...
We're halfway through the story. Let's keep going now. Because Bomber then wrapped up with Chloe. And Chloe's got obviously interesting insights into David Seymour because she has been debating him for quite a long time. So Bomber asks Chloe about the ongoing conversations around David Seymour and his attacks on people and what she thinks of it all.
Finally, your thoughts on the ACT Party's social media campaign targeting critics of their regulatory standards bill.
I'll give you a preview. She basically calls him a little bitch, basically.
Why would the party of free speech actively attempt to strangle others' free speech?
Nailed it. That's it really, isn't it? Like, I mean, look, I've been put on breakfast panels and debates with David Seymour since I was 22 years old.
And you beat him, and you beat him every time. You beat him every. You do. I'm keeping count. I'm keeping count.
I know. Well, I was on your show back in 2016 when I was running for local body elections, but nonetheless, we digress. But what I have seen time and again is a man whose rhetoric is championing freedom of speech, but when push really comes to shove, he attacks people individually, personally, and on an ad hominem basis. And in addition to that, he can give it, but he can't take it. Yeah. And I just frankly, like at this point in the way that politics is working in modernity, New Zealanders deserve a heck of a lot better.
As I said, he can give it, but he can't take it. That's polite speak for he's a little bitch. Chewie.
He's a little bitch. And the only thing that he hides behind is I was just joking, lol. And he clearly thinks highly of himself as someone that is funny. and I've never seen it. It's just calling something a joke to get away with being punched in the mouth. Yeah, does not work.
It's the journalists or it's the interviewers version of I'm just asking questions, questions, just asking questions. Yeah.
Somebody got offended of my little joke, my little joke that I made from my little joke book.